2020 Master Plan, Phase 1 Improvements. If this were a news article, the headline might read, TSSD dramatically lowers carbon footprint, or TSSD secures grants saving constituents millions. But since it's not, we are just calling it the 2020 Master Plan, Phase 1 Improvements. As mentioned in previous videos, our objectives for plant improvements were heavily influenced by stakeholder input from the communities and our regulatory environment, which is a moving target. Our current plan checks a lot of boxes, enhances livability for our growing community, provides beneficial resources, protects our environment and Utah Lake, leverages current plant assets, and minimizes user rate increases. With population growth being an immediate driver, TSSD has begun the initial detailed planning and engineering for the Master Plan Phase 1 improvements. The time frame for the design, construction, and startup is expected to span from 2022 to 2029. In parallel with the design, TSSD is actively investigating funding alternatives, which will include a mix of bonding and potential state or federal grants or incentive payments. Any bonding would be paid back through impact fee revenues, which are charged one time to new connections, and user rates, which are charged to all users, typically on a monthly basis. TSSD is regularly updating impact fees charged to new users as allowed by state law. Total Phase 1 projected costs are $522 million. The total value of grants and incentive payments we have already secured or are actively pursuing is over $86 million. This funding is coming from ARPA, Utah County, Utah Division of Water Quality, the Federal Bureau of Reclamation, as well as funds designated by the Inflation Reduction Act. Securing these grants will generate a tremendous savings to our users. TSSD is implementing the Phase 1 improvements in a series of construction bid packages and using local construction companies as well as local labor as much as possible. Here's a summary of what's included in those packages. Construction Package A, the dryer. The current biosolids disposal system is an odor source. TSSD will construct an advanced thermal belt drying facility to capture the odors and remove water from biosolids, generating a nutrient-rich product that meets EPA standards for soil use, reduces truck traffic and landfill waste, and enables local farmers to decrease their reliance on synthetic fertilizers. Implementing this process will reduce our carbon footprint. Backup options include continued hauling to landfills and in-vessel composting, which is done in a concrete structure enclosed inside a metal building. This structure inside a structure is highly effective at capturing foul composting odors and is another sustainable option. Construction Package B, water reclamation. The master plan identified a need for TSSD to develop the southern portion of the current site. The south treatment facilities will commence with Package B and will further improve the district's discharge to Utah Lake and provide the ability to reclaim the water as a Utah Division of Water Quality Type 1 recycled water source. Type 1 recycled water can be used for a variety of non-drinking applications, including industrial cooling and irrigation, where the potential for public contact is high, such as parks and residences. Package B facilities include a secondary pump station, chemical building, final filter building, UV disinfection facility, and outfall. Secondary pump station. This 96 million gallon per day total capacity pump station lifts secondary treated water to the final filter building. This facility houses chemical flash mixing, future flocculation, sedimentation basins, and filtration. The pump station has 8 vertical turbine pumps, each with 12 million gallons per day pumping capacity. Chemical building. Dissolved phosphorus that cannot be easily settled out of the existing system can be changed to a particulate form by adding chemicals. These chemicals, known as coagulants, bind with the dissolved phosphorus to form particulates that can then be filtered. This process is known as chemical phosphorus removal and is critical to meeting low phosphorus discharge concentrations into Utah Lake. The chemical building houses the coagulant in storage tanks before being pumped into the liquid process. Utah County and state funding has been secured from federal ARPA grants to pay $8 million towards this project. Final filter building. The final filter building's purpose is to filter out particulate phosphorus, suspended solids, and other debris. The final filtration has many benefits and produces a much higher quality water that reduces carbon and phosphorus loading to Utah Lake, thus helping us protect Utah Lake. Filtration also produces reuse water that can be used for secondary irrigation, wetlands creation, or enhancement of other potential recycled water demands, and can be a drought-resistant water source for our community. To make this project happen, Federal Bureau of Reclamation grants are being pursued for funding. UV disinfection facility. Filtered water is disinfected using UV light prior to final release. The new UV disinfection facility has 5 20 million gallon per day open concrete channels where UV light is passed through the water to provide disinfection treatment. Outfall. To meet the future capacity of the wastewater treatment plant, the new outfall is designed to discharge final cleaned water to the newly constructed wetlands and Utah Lake. This outfall incorporates a constant head box with oxygen-inducing cascading steps before flowing out to Utah Lake. Construction Package C, Sustainable Renewable Natural Gas. Package C calls for new facilities that can convert the organic waste to sustainable renewable natural gas, or RNG. The conversion takes place through primary treatment, straining and thickening, and anaerobic digestion. Primary treatment. The primary treatment facilities will divert the organic material out of the main waste stream for processing. This bolt-on process increases the plant capacity by over 30%, thereby leveraging the current plant assets. The primary treatment facilities are a potential odor source and for that reason will be entirely enclosed. Unpleasant odors are treated and removed using a best-in-class air scrubbing process. Straining and thickening. This step further separates the organic waste by straining and screening plastic and inorganic solids and removing water. Anaerobic digestion. These are tightly sealed and highly efficient egg-shaped structures. Federal IRA grant programs are being pursued to provide as much as 40% of capital costs. Organic waste is broken down to biogas in these egg-shaped structures through a process called anaerobic digestion, reducing the biosolids by as much as 50%. Again, this is bolting on a system to leverage the current plant assets. This too requires a best-in-class air scrubbing process. The biogas has a high concentration of methane, carbon dioxide, and moisture. The methane can be extracted and becomes a sustainable, renewable natural gas. RNG is essentially scrubbed methane gas that can be sold back to the natural gas grid, often at a green gas premium to generate income for the district. That income is part of the district's overall financial planning to help minimize future user rate increases. RNG production is also a key factor in lowering TSSD's carbon footprint and in creating a significant revenue stream. TSSD is going green in more ways than one. Construction Package D, Engineered Wetlands and Trail System. In order to keep up with growth, TSSD is expanding the facilities and footprint of the plant. Some of the expansion will be into unused and largely inaccessible property bordering the lake that is officially designated as wetlands. The land to the east of the plant was historically dry desert land. This expansion gives us an opportunity to create an engineered wetland and trail system that connects the American Fork Boat Harbor with the Linden Marina. We want to enrich this area with a diverse vegetation that supports a variety of plant life and supports clean water and diverse wildlife. The trail system will meet Utah County's trail structure requirements and make the area more accessible for our community to enjoy nature, as has been done successfully elsewhere in the state. To ensure that we develop the property properly, we have been meeting with the Army Corps of Engineers and other regulators for about a year and a half now. Additionally, the TSSD Board of Directors previously funded a NEPA study, the results of which will help guide our efforts. We will continue to coordinate with all appropriate regulators and comply with all regulations as we expand our capabilities to meet the needs of our constituent cities. It is a challenging project to expand facilities to clean water, continue the trail around Utah Lake, provide access to open space, and enrich wildlife habitat and observation in the heart of a growing Utah County. These projects help TSSD keep pace for the future and achieve our mission to clean water for a thriving Utah County.